Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Community Brew Live. We're excited that you are here. We're going to be talking about the power of place-based experiences this morning. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to our lead host this morning, Laura Arnold, and let her kick us off.
Good morning, Nelson County. We're grateful that you have chosen to join us today as we continue celebrating the gifts across our community. And yesterday we discussed the gifts of people, and today we'll be spending time exploring the gifts of place. And yesterday we introduced to you chapter 1 of The Power of Place, which is actually going to be a part of our book club this summer. But in the first chapter, it makes reference to many experiences shape our lives. And often those experiences are connected to relationships with people, as Robin McCoy's panel discussed yesterday. And then they're also connected to place. And that's some of the conversation that we will be discussing today with student leaders and leaders from across our district. To guide our conversation, we continue to look at deep learning. And one of the quotes from deep learning that has stuck with me as we began exploring that book last year was that as students contribute to their local and global communities, they really begin to think their place not only in learning, but also in changing the world. And David Mudd often laughs and talks about how we are changing the world when we think about connecting our kids to place. So today we're going to get started with our panel, and we're going to begin the discussion with some of our student leaders who have taken part in some of our place-based experiences this year. This year, we had almost 200 students immersed in our community through a variety of experiences. And oftentimes, the students provided quotes and reflections of their experience. And a quote that really stuck out to me this year that was shared was from Kaylee Evelyn, who will be visiting with us today. And she did an experience at Old Kentucky Home Middle School. And she said through that experience, her passion for education has grown tremendously. And she said, knowing that I'm helping students every day is a life-changing experience. So again, I think that reinforces what the power of place mentions and also is emphasized through deep learning. So we're going to get started. We have Kaylee Evelyn, Jacob Cundiff, and we have Leilani from Nelson County High School with us. And I'm going to ask the students, and they can just kind of jump in when they feel comfortable, to just introduce themselves. If you can also kind of share how your experience allowed you to connect with community. And then I'll follow up with another question after you do that. So one of you all can just kind of kick off with your introduction.
Okay, I'll start. Good morning, everyone. Like she said, my name is Kaylee Evelyn. I'm a senior at Thomas Nelson, and I plan to go into the education field. So I said, why not spend my summer year having an experience at a school? So I reached out to Old Kentucky Home Middle School, and I was hired as the student secretary there in the front office. And so a little bit about what I do, I answer any phone calls, I answer the door whenever a guest comes in. I will help Miss Case or any of the other leaders with whatever they need, anything that the students need, and I can just not say how thankful I am for the experience. I loved it, every minute of it. It was amazing. And I was so sad when I drove into the parking lot the other day because I was like, this is really the last time I'll ever be here. So yes, I'm very thankful for that.
So you may go by Kaylee Evelyn, but it appears as though you also might go by the world's most best human ever, according to Miss Case at OKH. So I just didn't know. I didn't know if you knew like your alias, but that's it. So.
Yeah, they had a lot of potential for me there, especially because they've had these positions in the past, and I feel like I have lived up to that potential and grown so much farther than they have imagined for me and that I've imagined for me, and it's been amazing.
So, Kaylee, I'll just go ahead because the second question I was going to ask kind of will follow up well with what you just said. So, as you think about your experience, what did you learn about yourself and what did you learn about community?
Okay, I'll start with myself. Before this year, before going to OKH, I wouldn't say I was scared of public speaking, but I definitely wasn't comfortable with it. So now, this whole year, every time someone's walked in the door, you've had to welcome them, get back that basic conversation barrier. So I feel like I have such better communication skills talking with everyone. And I just know that I've grown so much in that area. And then as a community, something that is crazy to see is that 6th to 8th grade is around 12 to 14-year-olds. And they have the leadership skills and the passion to drive our community. They have the backpack class where they're going and creating all these projects. I would trust them to put them in our city government because they could do it. They are awesome. And it is so inspirational and cool to see. They're really leaders. It's amazing.
Yeah, Kaylee, and I think that's something that even our employer partners are seeing as we do the gift projects across the community. And as you all get out into the community, they're seeing like, wow, our future is bright because we have these amazing students who are creating and bringing about problems to help with our community. So definitely true. Okay, Jacob or Leilani.
The what now? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Okay, hey Jacob, if you can just share a little bit about your place-based experience and kind of introduce yourself to our group.
Okay, I'm Jacob Cundiff. I'm a senior at Thomas Nelson. I had actually two. Worked with my dad doing heat and air, and then also got the opportunity to do building the airplane out at the airport, which was really cool. Yeah, definitely something I never thought I could say I got to do. And I met a lot of new people, made a lot of new connections with that, and I'm really grateful that we was able to actually get to do it. And it sucks we don't get to finish it right now.
So I'm hearing there might still be an opportunity to see some of that project come to life and actually see that plane in the air. So Jacob, as you think about your experiences, and you were fortunate because you actually had two place-based experiences, what have you learned about yourself through that?
What'd you say at the end? I'm sorry.
What have you learned about yourself through these experiences when you think about the airport and you think about working with your dad?
I've learned I'm a hard worker, I guess, because I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone with building an airplane. I didn't really take a whole lot of leadership roles. When Mr. Mudd called me to do it, I was kind of skeptical about it. And then my dad ended up just talking me into doing it. And I'm glad I ended up doing it. So.
And Jacob, I think when we talk about taking a leadership role, I know when we were planning to build the airplane, there needed to be some work done at the airport. And I think your father and you stepped up to actually help create some of the classroom space for the airport. So we appreciate your leadership with that. Leilani, when you came, can you share a little bit about your place-based experience and kind of give us an overview of that?
Yes, I'm Leilani. I am a junior at Nelson County High School, and I'm a student translator for the Nelson County schools. I work with parents, translating meetings, translating tests for the kids that start in kindergarten and doesn't know how to interpret pretty well the test. So I help them with that. I translate documents for the district to give to the parents. So that's what I do.
Well, Leilani, I know you work with Miss Shearhorn, and she speaks highly of you and the work that you are doing to connect with our families and different things through that position. So, what have you learned through this experience as you think about your senior year of high school and your next steps?
Well, I have learned that I'm a little bit scared of public speaking, and this is helping me with talk with parents and let me talk more with people that I don't know. So that I have learned, and that I know that I have patience and perseverance in what I do, and that I like to help my community. And this is helping me to give me an idea to what I want to do for college, and give me an idea that I want to work with kids, with people, and help them.
I'm so glad to meet you, Leilani. I've heard so much about you, like, over the course of the year and how amazing you are. So I'm like, I kind of feel like yes, girl, I feel like I'm totally fangirling right now. I'm like, this is Leilani. This is her. She's here. I have to tell you though, so you have quite a fan club on YouTube, and I had to pause for a second and give you share some love. Miss Kersinger from Nelson County High School. She's over there. She said, hey, Leilani, you are such a great kid. David Sparrow's giving you a shout out. Stan Hayes is giving you a shout out. Like, everybody loves Leilani. So you just keep rocking, girlfriend. Keep rocking.
So as you can tell from some of our student stories, and they share about the power of their experiences, it definitely aligns to the chapter 1 of the Power of Place. And one of the things that that chapter kind of emphasizes is that as we connect young learners to community and we get them immersed, it really creates this sense of agency and purpose. So next, we're going to transition some of our conversation to our teacher leaders across Nelson County, and just kind of begin asking the question of, what does place mean to you as a community leader?
Okay, I'll begin. I'm Dana Whitus. I teach 3rd grade at Bloomfield Elementary. Place to me means the community within where you live. And I'll talk about both things, because I'll start with, when I was listening to the students, my daughter also was, she was placed at Bloomfield Elementary this year in the library. Having no idea what she wanted to do when she got to college, she came to me one day. She also works in Miss Winston's classroom for an hour, and then she does the library checkout, so she's gotten to know all the kids. So she came to me one day and said, you know what, Mom, I think I might want to go into education. That had never crossed her mind. When I had mentioned to her before, I mentioned it, she was like, no way, I'm not doing that. So just having that experience, that work-based experience, I think that's where she's leaning. She, it's kind of like with Kaylee. She loved what she was doing. At school, our school has a partnership with the Boston Training Center, and through the Power of Place, our kids have gotten that they've gotten to know Mr. Embry. They have a connection with him. They know him at a personal level. And with that being almost in Boston, and we're in Bloomfield, our kids had no idea where Boston was in our community. I didn't even know that place existed. So being part of the externship really helped me, not just there, but get out into the community and to experience. We begin like we're doing at a young age, that will give our kids more opportunities.
Yes, I think it's definitely the idea that to understand our global world, you first have to be understand your local community and how you function within that. And I also think another good point that Ms. Whitus and other teachers on the panel can share is that place-based education isn't just about a work-based experience or a high school experience. And I think we'll learn that as we continue our conversation today.
Hi, I'm Chastity Newberry. I'm from Cox's Creek Elementary. I teach 4th grade there. I am also one of the teachers that's collaborating with our backpack leader teacher, Miss Berryman. And so I've had the privilege all year of working with the backpack leaders. They're also all in 4th grade. So a lot of those students are my students in the classroom. So I've gotten to know them very well. But we have had so many experiences with them out in the community that have impacted me greatly, and I've watched them grow tremendously through this program. One that really stands out to me is an opportunity when the backpack leaders went out into Bardstown, downtown Bardstown, and they were our tour guides for the entire fourth grade. So the whole fourth grade went on a field trip, and we would go to different parts of Bardstown. And the backpack leaders were there, and they were all dressed up as tour guides, and they had cards and notes, and they explained about that part of this community they taught it to the fourth grade. And I just standing back and watching that happen, watching them take that leadership role, it made me realize that it's this place, it's this community, it's this school, it's this county that is shaping these kids into like true leaders, giving them a voice and making them feel equal and making them feel like what they say and what they do matters. And I love how you said, Laura, like they have to feel comfortable in their small community in order to expand that out into a bigger community. And I love how like Kaylee explained how it was building her confidence, because that's what I'm seeing in these small kids, even in elementary. And I can't imagine what they're going to do when they get into high school, in a work-based experience like Kaylee, or building an airplane like Jacob. It's just really neat to see them grow so quickly, so young. So Place is really making a big impact at Cox's Creek for sure.
I'll hop in and go next. My name is Amanda Noakes. I'm the assistant principal at New Haven. And I would say really what I've seen this year as far as the power of place is the difference in knowing your community and seeing your community. New Haven is a really small little town, but I know that a lot of our students haven't had the opportunity to really feel ingrained in what that community means. So we have our partnership with the Bread for Life Pantry, and it has been an eye-opening experience for the students as well as for the staff to realize some of the need we had right there in the community. So again, that difference in knowing and seeing a need and really troubleshooting what can we do to address a need in our community, and thinking locally, but that will certainly translate to global thinking as they grow and get older. So exactly what Chastity said, seeing these students already problem solving with their small community now, how is that going to translate? Because we're giving them that opportunity so early to see what's really going to happen as they become older, and we really develop that thinking skill. So, we're safe in the confines of school, and we tell students how to act and what to do in these very stringent rules. How do we open up an ability that they can learn through the power of place? So going out in the community, we did a middle school wide community service project that the school had never done before, going out and working with businesses. And the great thing about New Haven is it's walkable. Everything is walkable from our school. So just the conversations that took place on the walk to their place, just getting to actually talk to business owners, the students loved being able to help, and the feedback from the community was amazing. So they had an opportunity to see a community that they thought they knew in a totally different light. So that's certainly been very powerful. And I look forward to, more opportunities for our students.
Okay, I'll jump in. I'm Colleen Yates, and I teach careers at Foster Heights Elementary. I took my third and fourth and fifth grades out on career expeditions, and they loved those days. They looked forward to those days because they knew they were going to be out in the community. And a lot of times the kids didn't even have a clue that this place existed, or the opportunities out there. So I found it to be very motivational for the kids to learn, because they were very inquisitive. They wanted to ask questions, and it really helped on their communication skills, because they were having, conversations with employers and employees, and really finding like their interest. And so I think the place is very important, especially, we think that our kids know Bardstown and Nelson County, but some kids really do not have a clue what's in our small community, much less in our world. So that's why I'm trying as much as I can to get our students out just in Bardstown and Nelson County, so they can hopefully open the door to other avenues. So place is very important.
And Colleen, that makes me kind of think about another piece of the power of place that mentions about schools are social, but they're very insulated, and that our existing structure of school, when you think about traditional periods and, 7-period day and the bell and lunch really creating what your day looks like, kind of brings about that structure that sometimes is a barrier to that creativity that we need to create place-based experiences.
I'll jump in. I'm Jessica Kephart. I teach at Thomas Nelson High School. And when I think about the power of place, and in thinking about that, I think back to several comments I heard from my students this year, different students. Why do I need to take this class? How is this class going to help me when I graduate? I just need to be out there. And when I was in school, we were, in high school, we were just driven focus. Okay, you need to study every single subject. This is what you do. You pull out your textbook and you do the work. Then you're going to go to college and just keep moving on. But our school community is built of so much more than that. And these students have such diversity within them, within their interests. And this idea of place and giving them those opportunities where they can go out and work and learn, they are taking control of their own education. They get to make that choice. They get to say, you know what, this is what I love. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to learn. This is going to help me after school. And when they have that sense of ownership, of engagement in what they're doing, they just, I think, embrace learning in other subjects as well. I think that they start to see how everything is going to benefit them. They have a better perception, better outlook, I think it's overall just this idea of ownership for them. They got to make a choice. They get to do something that they enjoy. And, when we enjoy what we're doing, it's always best. And so that's what I think about when I think about power of a place, is kind of empowering our students.
Hi, I'm Adam Woosley from OKH, Old Kentucky Home Middle School. I'm the 8th grade ELA teacher. And when I think about the power of place, I think it's really helped lead our story at Old Kentucky Home. And I think about those 3 things that the reading drilled it down to. The power of place creates agency, equity, and community. And when I reflect over the year, I can think of an example of each of those things being created by place. We have our backpack create, and the teachers doing the externships with them. And that really creates an agency, kind of like Kaylee was talking about. They engage directly. I really would turn some of those kids over to work for our government. Like, they should be doing some of that actual work. They're awesome. And then I think about equity. One of the things I'm really proud of OKH for is we take all of our 8th graders on a Washington, D.C. trip, and they get that experience of history relating to the content, but also seeing how other people live. And we really work with each student on if they have a behavior problem that's holding them back, if they have a financial issue. We try and work with those students directly to make that an equitable thing so everybody's getting that shared experience. And I think about the creation of community, which each of those things does. But we did live writing this year. We had the opportunity to do that before, everything went to pieces. And we had, in that case, our place was the place for community to come in, and that just changed the place that we were experiencing. And they got to engage with different people on their writing, which made it something that they had a greater agency about. So I think that it's really shaped kind of our OKH legacy, and I'm excited for what it's going to do when we start to think about it with more intention.
Hi, I'm Tracy from the preschool. We have kids from across the district. So we have, each district. Hang on, let me on my door.
Sorry. So it's a little harder for us to get our littles out. Last year we only had 3 hours for each class, so it's harder for us to get them out into the community to experience things. But I think this year we're going to have a lot more experiences for them. We're going to go to a all-day 4-year-old classroom, so getting them out will be easier. But also, I think it's important to bring experiences to them, bringing the place to them, so they can get the hands-on experiences and things. And we also had a committee this year of leaders that were for going to kindergarten next year. And they were able to make decisions, and we did go out of the building and visit some outdoor classrooms, and it was amazing because you don't think that at 4 years old that they can be leaders and make decisions, but they did it, and it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. But I think that our key for them is to get the experiences to the preschoolers so they can maybe get an idea of what they're interested in, get some hands-on. Let them do some sewing or some woodworking, just to be exposed.
So, Tracy, to kind of piggyback off your comments and also thinking about what Ms. Woosley shared, as we see our students taking part in gift projects and externships starting in elementary, middle, we know as students reach high school, they're going to be demanding, and parents are going to be demanding these immersive experiences. And also thinking about that sense of agency, like our students are creating those opportunities. And we're already starting to see some of that. I know Amber and David called me the other day. Both of them had situations where students were bringing ideas to them about their place-based experience and working with community partners to even create what that experience looks like. So they're actually working with the employer to create the experience. So I think there's such power in that. Brooke, I was going to close out here in a few minutes, but is there anything you want to add before I kind of get to our closing points? Are you good? Okay, so this afternoon, we're hoping that as a local school community, you'll have some time to continue these conversations and really want you to ask yourself, what does the power of place look like as you think about the future of your work and you think about working with students and community to create the future of our experiences here in Nelson County Schools. And I think it's evident based on the conversation, we're definitely starting to see place-based experiences grow across our community. And when you hear our student leaders share, like Jacob saying he is building an airplane that he will actually see in the air, like that is powerful stuff. I hope you continue to have good conversation at your local level as you continue to think about really what is the power of place and what does it look like as you think about the future of our community. Well, thank you, panel, for being a part of our discussion. Great conversation today, and hope y'all have a great week. Thanks, guys.